crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadtour.com. Good morning, Hornesies, a sip of chaga coffee. Oh, yeah. I got my Mighty Mia shirt on, Litecoin Lisa's charity, because Lisa is on with my friend Jean-Claude, JC, at 12 noon Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern time today, 6-9. Jean-Claude he has so much fun with these little, the pictures on his videos, the thumbnails. Oh, by the way, I have a discussion with Jean-Claude scheduled for tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Look at the picture he forced me to put up there. I love it. That's hysterical. Of course, I provided him that picture. Actually, it was Amy. I said, I don't have a picture of me. Give me a picture of me. And she sent me two. One's like, oh, good-looking, professional-looking guy. And the other one was this, when I was growing all my hair out and Amy was going to cut my hair and she took a picture. Classic. That's how the interview will go. I don't know what we're talking about. Probably, obviously Theta and Silver. But we're going to get into some woo-woo stuff too. And I always enjoy hanging out with Jean-Claude. But go check out Litecoin Lisa today. Again, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Beyond Crypto Talk. Who knows what they're talking about? They're going to push the borders of getting kicked off YouTube like usual. All right, let's talk about this. This is my career in silver. Well, no. Well, actually, thinking back, when I was in high school, my grandfather used to collect silver coins, and he'd show me all his coins. So that's kind of how I first learned about silver, but it was really in 1999 that I first invested in my first silver. Actually, it was a gold mining company. It was Newmont Mining. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to print so much money. I need to get some exposure to gold mining. I thought I was a big businessman. I was working not on Wall Street, but I was in the equipment finance. I think at the time I was working for either GE Capital or GATX Capital. I'm not sure who I was working for at the time, but had some very good mentors. Said, hey, you should be investing your money. I'm like, I thought the stock market was overvalued. I already missed out on the .com, the beginning of WWW, the World Wide Web, in 1990. So I thought, okay, I'm going to listen to these smart guys on Wall Street. And they're like, oh, Newmont Mining, inflation is going to go through the roof. This is in 1999. So I bought Newmont Mining and went down like 50% when it should have gone up, and all these wars going on. I'm like, what the hell? Which began my investigation into the manipulation of gold and silver, and it's been over 20 years now. So, truthfully, let's look at the 20 years. That's pretty much my soiree into gold and silver manipulation, exposing the manipulation. And as you can see, manipulation continues. Look at the all-time high in 1980, all-time high in 2011. Both of those were manipulated, rigged. No, it was kind of the Hunt brothers, but it was also Paul Volcker allowing it to get up to $50 and then slamming it down to control the monetary system. Paul Volcker was the head of the Treasury back then. This is all JP Morgan. Operation Silver Slam started in January of 2011. A guy named Bill Daley, he was Jamie Dimon's head of his SWAT team at JP Morgan in Chicago. Yes, the Daley family of Chicago, the mafia family. They had inherited Bear Stearns' short position, as we found out later from Bart Chilton. Anyway, they put Bill Daley as Barack Obama's chief of staff in January of 2011. I'm like, look out! Uh-oh, here comes trouble. They drove the price up from $20 to $50 and then slammed it down to create an artificial bear market that we're still in today, truthfully, if you look at it. And then the next January, Bill Daley left with silver at $20. That's what happened. I've written articles about it. The CFTC, I've written them. The CME, which is the regulator, It's a self-regulating entity. The COMEX is self-regulating. They did nothing. The COMEX did nothing. The regulator of JP Morgan is the Federal Reserve System. I wrote to them. They did nothing. That's when I learned that they were in on the con. They are not protecting anybody. They are in on the con. So yes, it has been going on for 170 years plus. The suppression of the price of silver. Silver should be over $1,000 today. Why do I say $1,000? It's at least 2 to 1 with gold. Gold's at 2,000, and gold is rigged as well. But why do I say 2 to 1? Well, just coming out of the ground, it's 7 to 1. Above ground silver, there's about 6 billion ounces of silver and about 6 billion ounces of gold on the planet. That's 1 to 1. Yes, I do think it will go to 1 to 1, but what should it be today? Probably 2 to 1. Because it's both an industrial asset, needed in almost every electronic thing you own or could possibly think of owning. And oh, by the way, a Green New Deal means billions of ounces of silver are needed for that. From solar panels to smart cars to all the bullshit that the current administration wants to do, we don't have the silver. And if you look at what has happened last year, there was a flip between industrial demand for silver, how much silver was consumed in industrial demand and in investment demand. It was flipped literally on its head. Usually it's like, what was it, 80-20. And last year, for some reason, I mean, obviously the numbers are rigged, but they said it's about 30-70 last year. 70% went into investment. Well, how long can that last? If the economy is coming back and we have a normal year this year, where are silver investors going away to make room for the industrial buyers? No. So that's where we are. When will the con end? I think this year. I think very soon. And as a matter of fact, we broke it down. Andy Scheckman and myself on the private road at roadtoruda.com. 2 silver nights fight silver manipulation. Yes, I do have a new backdrop. I'm playing with the little backdrop screen things, and I'm gonna be doing a lot of that. I'm tired of my old backdrops, so it's time to get a little more exciting on the Road to Ruda. As a matter of fact, Josh is working on a brand new website for Road to Ruda at roadtoruda.com. We want to integrate. We want to have everything that's on there now. 3,000 articles, historical, factual articles about silver manipulation, but at the same time, it's hard to navigate. There's no dates. So Josh is going to put a lot of time and effort into building a new website. So we're all excited about that. I am. I know all you Road to Ruda members who try to navigate. The best way to navigate the Road to Ruda website is just to type in what you're interested in the top right corner. If you're interested in silver manipulation, type in silver manipulation. How many articles do I have just on silver manipulation? Over 1,152. That's a lot of articles, videos, data, reports. Look at all that. And you can click on it and voila, some are private roads, some are public road. I loved this picture back in the day when they were trying to tell the world that, oh, there's so much silver. Look at this warehouse. Look at all this silver in this warehouse. You can see the mirror line right here. All this is fake. It's a completely doctored picture. And they have quite a few of those, actually. And JP Morgan obviously is all over this. If the CFTC ever wants to prove silver manipulations, like truthfully, or the DOJ, just go to roadtoruda.com and go through there. There's so many documented proofs of silver manipulation. Or you can go, even if you're looking for gold manipulation, go to the GATA website. Bill Murphy's Le Metropole Cafe goes back to 1999, documenting gold manipulation. I was all over that before I started the Road to Ruda. I wrote for 10 years for Bill Murphy and the GATA Warriors, and that was awesome time. We had a splitting of opinions when I found out about all the gold in the Grand Canyon and the Fed's secret plan to hyperinflate the currency to destroy it and lead us back to a gold standard. I don't know why they didn't like it or why they didn't understand it, but a lot of my gold bug friends got pissed at me. So I said, oh, fine, I'll start my own website. And there you go. So Bill Murphy was never part of that anti-Bix crowd, by the way. I love Bill. always love Bill, and he's a great guy, and he deserves a lot of. He deserves a Medal of Honor for the 20+ year battle he's put in fighting. Same with Chris Powell fighting the gold manipulators. But yeah, I moved on, and they really didn't get their hands around cryptos fast enough, and then they thought they were late for the boat. And it's like most gold bugs and silver bugs. It's like, well, I didn't get in when I had a chance when Bitcoin was $10, so I won't get in, and they're just missing out still to this day. All right. Anyway, silver's still rigged. We are coming up to Silver Delivery Month. I think it's going to be huge. I talked with Andy about this, and we will see. Those days are coming up. But if you're on the private road, go to roadtoruda.com, go to the member area. If you want to join the private road, hit subscribe today to get access to everything on the private road, and I'll ship you this Silver Ruda coin for joining a 1-year subscription. All right, here's what I want to talk about. Really important right now. Are the cryptos bottoming again? Yes, they are. That's what I have to say. This wasn't the big slam. There'll be a big 90% slam coming up in the next year or two. But it didn't have enough buy-in. That's the way cryptos go. What this did teach is all the newbies, especially the ones who got out. I got out of Bitcoin when it was, it went up to $1,000 and it went down to like 100. Everybody said it's dead. Mt. Gox imploded. And I got out at like $120. And then I kicked myself 100 times, obviously, as everybody did. Got back in when it was 4 times as high or something. But you learn lessons. And the biggest lesson I learned is cryptos are not going away. Some of them are. Some of them aren't that great. And so you have to kind of keep up on the ones you choose. The most important cryptos are the ones we use, in my opinion. Now, at some point, we will need to use cryptocurrencies. Litecoin will be used. Bitcoin will be used. Bitcoin is a store of value. Litecoin as a means of exchange. Which other ones make it? I don't know. Decentralization is gigantic when it comes to cryptocurrencies as a currency, replacing the fiat monetary system. Or actually, I don't think it will replace it. I think countries will always want to control their own money, which is fine. But it will be in addition. If you love freedom in the United States, you should love freedom of currency. And you should have the right to choose whatever currency you want, be it gold, silver, fiat money, the US dollar, the Federal Reserve dollar, different things. I do see a world where the Federal Reserve note goes away, but the US dollar stays in the form of coinage made by the US Mint. Because we all know the Federal Reserve System is not federal. It might have been drawn into the U.S. currency system under Trump, but it was never announced. But Federal Reserve notes are IOUs. Quarters, dimes, nickels, pennies that are made by the U.S. Mint are not IOUs. So if I load up on coinage. I love coinage. I mean, my favorite obviously is pre-65 U.S. coinage. But even to use on a daily basis, if the shit falls apart, Federal Reserve notes will not be a good thing to hold. U.S. coinage will be, in my opinion. Now that's extreme. I know a lot of people can't get their heads around that. That's okay. I do a lot of that. People couldn't get their heads around silver was manipulated for over a decade, and I'm screaming it, along with other people, Ted Butler especially. Ted Butler's been in the silver, uncovering the silver manipulation since the 1980s. That's a long time. So, yeah, people will, we're all on our own path. Those of you on the path of Theta and Theta Fuel, congratulations. You're kicking serious ass. Serious ass. Especially the Theta Fuel ratio right now, which has squeezed down from 40-1 just a few months ago down to 15-1. All the new changes with Theta Mainnet 3.0, which comes out June 30th, mostly revolves around Theta Fuel. And Theta Fuel being the currency within the Theta system. It will be used for NFTs. It'll be used for, you'll be able to stake it even. You'll be able to stake your Theta Fuel. And right now, let's take a look, because this is important. right now, the amazing thing to me is that still 60 the amount of theta being staked is rising. When I would think, well, not yet, but at some point, people with theta, because there's so little theta fuel staked right now. Now it's all pre-Guardian node. You don't make much for doing it. I get that. So there's going to be some craziness right around the 30th when all of a sudden you can stake your theta. Um, will it come to the same percentage that theta when you can stake your theta fuel? Sorry, theta fuel is what is coming out on June 30th. When you can stake your theta fuel, right now it's only like 13% of all theta fuel is staked on the pre-Guardian node, mainly because you can't make much at it. But if that 13% stays low, you're going to be making a hell of a lot of T fuel. I don't think it will stay low. I think it'll really quickly move up to around the same place that theta is, which is 61%. But I thought with the ratio at, and I talked about this on my channel, the ratio at 40-1, I thought more people would swap out their theta for theta fuel. But it looks like, judging from the stats, 61%, that it was at like 55% when I was saying that, the amount of theta being staked is still going up. But as you can see with theta fuel, the price of theta fuel is just on fire right now and racing towards the 6 to 6.5 golden ratio, which is like for all the staking people, that's what they look at. So yes, I do think theta fuel will continue to run faster over the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then we'll have a better idea of how much theta fuel will be staked versus how much theta is being staked. And it might be that more theta fuel is staked because all the insiders are getting the theta fuel because they know the staking rewards are greater, especially at 13%. Because you're sharing a bigger part of, you're sharing the whole pool, but if it's only 13% staked, you're going to get more. I think that'll, the 13%, and where I get the 13%, you can get that right here on the Theta Explorer. It shows you right here, staked to pre-elite edge nodes right now. There's 707 million T fuel staked, and the total circulating supply of T fuel is 5.3 billion, and that is rising and falling. Because with 3.0, they institute a burning mechanism for theta fuel as well. Yes, it's complicated. There's a zillion different ways. If this is all crazy to you, just buy your theta fuel, and just sit there. You can use Gpool to stake your theta. At some point, you'll get to stake your theta fuel as well. Not sure. I got to call into my guy there to see what's going on with that. But it's real easy to run a theta edge node on your computer, share your bandwidth, and stake your theta fuel, especially after June 30th. So that's what's going on. That's why theta fuel is going crazy. Theta is strong. Theta fuel has gone crazy. Literally, look at the last 7 days of theta fuel. It's gone from 35 cents to 65 cents. It's basically almost doubled in just 1 week. That's a crypto return. That's people starting to find out, maybe Bix was right about, there's something about this theta and theta fuel thing. Maybe we do need the internet in our future. I would like to point out also on theta that there are currently 15 validator nodes. I think either one of these or one to soon come on will be Tom Brady's company, Autograph. I think Autograph will be running a validator node, if it's not already in here as one of these. Now, these Theta Labs validator nodes, they're basically holding them for companies that don't want to tell anybody that it's Apple or it's Netflix. That will all come out. These are not all of them. Theta Labs, I think they're probably this one. They're probably just one of them, which is the 32 million validator node staked. But I would venture to guess, and they've already said, a lot of those are just holding for other companies. Nobody wants to say, yes, we're in Bitcoin and we're in with 2 fists. Like, remember, I've been screaming it. Theta is all about the partnerships. It's all about the partnerships. Google, blockchain, you name it, Samsung, Sony, everybody, all the big names in tech. And when the tech investors come into Theta and Theta Fuel, look out above. How big is the tech sector? This is the biggest thing to happen to tech since the World Wide Web. And I was there. I've told this story many times. I could have invested in all those early startup companies when the World Wide Web was just invented in 1990. And all my friends are like, Bix, what are you thinking? Come with us. And I'm like, hell no. No way. I got my cushy corporate banking job. I'm just fine. They all turned out to be ultra billionaires. Yes, there will be people who invest today in Theta who are normal, regular, everyday people who will be multimillionaires and billionaires. Just like what happened in 1990 with the World Wide Web. I would say right now is like in relation to what happened to the World Wide Web, we're like 1993. So Theta, I think Theta's been around about 3 years. This is the same thing. So it took 10 years for the World Wide Web really to catch hold. All throughout in 2000, everything was online and everything got faster and faster. Video online, that was the big thing. And now it's like, of course, video online. But back then it's like, no way they can put video online. The same thing's going on with Theta, with all these Theta partnerships. If you invest in Theta and Theta Fuel today, you take the time and you learn how to do it, even though the United States is blocking all citizens from doing it. There are ways. Go to roadtoroot.com. On the private road, we have a whole Theta page on how to do it. It's right here. Videos on what Theta is, why it's so important, how it can solve all these different problems, and how to store it, stake it, and buy it. Buy it, store it, and stake it. A lot has to do with going through an overseas broker if you're not crypto savvy. And I have a link to Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown has been taking care of Road to Ruta members for a long time. We get 30% discounts on their fees, and they're doing an awesome job getting everybody into Theta and Theta Fuel, and they can do swaps as well, Theta for Theta Fuel or Theta Fuel for Theta. There will be a time, I think, when this ratio, the Theta to Theta Fuel ratio, overshoots, which everything does overshoots. Maybe 5 to 1 is probably an overshoot, that people will be selling their Theta Fuel and trying to get into Theta, but it might be too late. Theta might be running too fast to get into it at any decent price, and then I think it'll bounce around between 5 and 10 to 1. But right now it's 15 to 1. So do with it what you will. I know all the people who are playing the ratio are just absolutely loving this, as in their millions of dollars have turned into tens of millions of dollars just because they did that, which is crazy. I know. Road to Root people are saying, Bix, I ran the numbers when you say $3,000 or $10,000 Theta, and I'd be a multimillionaire, almost a billionaire if that happens. How is that even possible? I say go back to 1990 when the World Wide Web came out and people were putting $100,000 investment into these startup companies. All the startup companies we know in the background today of what makes the infrastructure of the internet. So take your pick. How would you like to be a first investor in Amazon or in Apple Computer? I mean, obviously that was before. Or Oracle, that monster behind the scenes company of the internet. How would you like to be on the ground floor and put $100,000, your whole life savings into it, thinking, oh my God, I might double my money, and then 5 years later, you're in the many, many millions of dollars. That's what's going on with cryptocurrencies, the right ones. Some will just go away. Some will be regulated out of existence. Because the regulators are coming, and they're coming fast, and they're coming hard. Gary Gensler is the destroyer of cryptos, but not all of them. He understands them. He has been given power. He's now the head of the SEC. He was the head of the CFTC when JP Morgan was rigging the market. So that's what I think of Gary Gensler. Now, I've watched his course at MIT on cryptocurrencies. He knows what he's talking about. He said XRP is a security, was a security, still is a security, but he also said that he won't be the one making the decision to shut that down because it's centralized. It'll have to go through the courts or Congress, I think he said, which will happen, I think. I think XRP is a fraud. I know a lot of people who bought into it because they were thinking quantum financial system. I'm screaming, no, don't fall for it again for the 100th time. And now they're kind of kicking themselves, going, well, maybe I was fooled by these guys about the new quantum financial system that's going to take over the world. I've heard it so many times. So I think XRP will go to zero when the U.S. government comes down on it. And you can stop that. You can take out the guys at Ripple, and there's deep state behind that. So we'll see what happens. Hey, I don't know. Will it cause a shakeup? Absolutely. Will the government come down on Theta or Theta Fuel? Absolutely not. We need the internet to keep going. So no, they get a free pass. That's why they keep getting approved patents. Reggie Middleton filed a DeFi patent long before Theta and Theta Fuel was even an idea. And that patent is still pending in the US. It is not pending in Japan. Japan approved the Reggie Middleton DeFi patent, so who knows what's going to go on with that. Reggie deserves vindication. You want to see something completely ridiculous? Look up Veritasium on CoinMarketCap. There's been a lot of crypto companies that have been taken down by the SEC. There's only one company that has this stupid red warning. The Securities and Exchange Commission announced that it has obtained a final judgment against the proprietors of very initial coin offering, ICO, who consented to an injunction against future violations of the anti-fraud provisions of the federal securities law and agreed to pay nearly why did they put even nearly? $9.5 million. They're trying to make it look as bad as possible to keep you away from Veritasium. There is plenty of companies that settled with the SEC. None of them have this warning. Tell me why. Unless there's something much, much bigger going on behind the scenes with the 98 million Veritasium tokens that are frozen. Nobody knows what's going to happen to them. Remember, Veritasium solves the problem of our rehypothecated markets. Peer-to-peer transactions. No more Goldman Sachs rigging the market. No more JP Morgan rigging the market. But if you want to buy Veritasium, it's almost impossible without driving the price up. I keep telling people that, but they keep going in. Look at the volume. $16,000. That's up 200% because I talked about it the other day, probably. If you had, say, what's just a small amount of money in cryptos is like $1 million, you would put the price of Veritasium at $100 trying to get in. Imagine if the freeze on the Veritasium token is taken off, the fraud of the SEC case is shown to humanity, and Reggie's allowed to go forward with the two exchanges he was working with, the Jamaican Stock Exchange and the German Stock Exchange, to implement Veritasium as a peer-to-peer trading platform. No more DTCC, no more JP Morgan rigging the markets, no more Vincent Viola of Virtu Financial rigging the markets, truth and honesty in our markets. Where would Veritasium go? It would go to where Cliff's data said it would go, 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. So anyway, I call it a lottery ticket just because the potential gains, if the odds of winning the lottery are very, 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 very low, especially with the whole financial world against Reggie, because he solves their criminal enterprise and he basically kicks them out. So we will see what happens with our friend Reggie Middleton. Bravo for what he has had to endure, and shame on all the regulators and the criminals that rig our markets. Again, go to roadtoruta.com, hit subscribe today, and with a 1-year subscription, I will send you a Road to Ruta silver coin, the coolest coin ever made. There's Ruta happy as can be because her silver's gone through the roof, and her Veritasium and her Theta and Theta Fuel have gone ballistic.